Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today, man, we got yet another YouTube change, another YouTube move that is absolutely stupid. It wouldn't be a normal month, I guess, out of the year if YouTube didn't do something that most of their users don't agree with. If they were to implement a feature that actually was useful and helped people and wasn't controversial, that would be almost like hell itself freezing over and the devil announcing that he's turning into an ice creature, right? It just doesn't happen. So, YouTube has this new, I guess, feature, if you want to call it that. This new feature that's what I'm going to refer to it as. I don't really know what else to refer to it as. That basically has already caused quite a big controversy because not only because of the content that it's being predominantly placed on, but just the general overall use of something like this in the first place. So obviously, if you've been around on YouTube for pretty much more than a decade at this point, if you used YouTube in its early days or anything like that, you'll know that this website was founded on the idea that a regular person, just anyone, right, doing a normal 9 to 5 or anything, could put their own content out on the internet, their own video, doing pretty much whatever, just showcasing their talents, talking, animating something, playing video games, whatever it may be, right? But just ordinary people being able to come onto YouTube and suddenly make it big. You upload a video and tomorrow you might wake up and it has 1 million views and you're the next viral sensation, right? But of course, over the years, YouTube has become much more corporatized. It was bought by Google, you know, one of the biggest conglomerates on the planet, and a lot of the things that were creator-friendly about the website, a lot of the things that, represented the principles that the website was founded on, have all but disappeared from this platform, right? And you'll see a lot of the major people who get promoted by the website. Oftentimes, it's like late night talk show hosts and people that are already deemed basically acceptable by society, people who are deemed to be not only big enough in terms of like the reach that they can get with people to actually pull an audience, but also they're advertiser friendly enough, right? And YouTube over the years has been kind of gaining this reputation of like shitting on its creators in favor of listening to people who really aren't creators themselves, aren't people themselves who actually matter or use YouTube. So this new feature that YouTube has, I don't even understand why this would take place. I've been trying to like wrap my head around the logic of this whole thing the entire time since it's been released, and I just honestly, I don't see a reason why something like this would need to exist other than to simply suppress content that YouTube doesn't like. I'm gonna go ahead and ask you guys an open question before we even get further into this video, right? Have you ever had an issue with a video being so popular, right, that like when you watch it or something, YouTube just crashes, right? Like you can't use the website because, I don't know, this one video is getting too much views or too much attention or comments. Has that ever happened to you? I'm gonna assume for the vast majority of you can feel free to leave your answer in the comments below, by the way, but I'm gonna assume for most of you that's never happened because YouTube is owned by Google and they have some of the largest servers in the world, right? You know, they run one of the biggest websites on the planet, one of the biggest companies on the planet with YouTube. They obviously have money for servers, so they wouldn't really, it seems, have an issue with web traffic, but apparently, from at least face value here, they do, because YouTube is now limiting content that is quote-unquote too popular. The sad thing is, this isn't even a joke. As a matter of fact, you can take a look at it right here. Video unavailable. This video's popular due to limited creator history. We're limiting the number of viewers. Subscribe to this channel to help this creator reach a broader audience. So this entire thing doesn't make sense, right? Even to break it down, right? So they point out that this is only happening to popular content, right? Videos that are gaining, I guess, too much attention to be seen by the widespread public, which has never been an issue in YouTube's history before, even when it was literally ran by a bunch of guys like from their houses or whatever who invented PayPal and whatnot. They didn't have an issue with content going viral, right? Because it really doesn't hold that much of a strain over this company like I guess this would make you think. I like the inclusion here of limited creator history. That actually means nothing. It really means nothing. But of course, they're using that as the main reason to justify something, which is something that YouTube will commonly do. They'll take a complete nothing burger, something that isn't an issue, and then they'll make it an issue so that they can fuck up their platform more. And it's incredible how often that they do this and miss the reaction from the public or something, or just don't care, I don't know. But someone having a quote-unquote limited creator history on YouTube should not be a justifiable reason reason to fucking block their video from being viewed. It literally makes no sense, and even for YouTube it makes no sense, right? Because you would think the more viewers that they get on videos like this, the more content that gets produced by small creators, the more successful virality stories you see on YouTube of people making it from nothing in a couple of years with their channels, you would think that would mean more money for YouTube in the long run because, well, more ads are getting viewed by more viewers, more people using the website, more content to market, things like that, right? So it makes no sense. Limited creator history is a bullshit excuse. It's never been an issue before, but it's all of a sudden an issue now, right? And they openly say they're limiting the number of viewers. And how do they do this? By forcing you to subscribe to channels that get this notice to quote-unquote help them reach a broader audience. You gotta remember, the original tagline of YouTube when it started blowing up was broadcast yourself, right? That was the whole point of the website. You show yourself, you show your talents, you show why you're unique, right? And you could go viral. But that no longer exists on YouTube, okay? There's no reason for that anymore because YouTube has what it needs now, okay? They have all of the corporate entities on their platform. Every company you can think of has a YouTube channel where they promote their shit. They have literally tens of thousands of content creators that earn them so much money a month that it's fucking unbelievable. They got what they need. They have the billions of users and everything. So now they don't need to stand on that original position of actually making a platform that people care to use, right? They don't need to stand on that position of actually making somewhere that people have a fucking chance to blow up on. They got what they need, fellas. Back in the day when you subscribed to a YouTube channel, it meant that you were essentially a fan of that channel. You were subscribing because you enjoyed their content so much that you wanted to be notified every single time that they uploaded a new video. That was the system people liked, right? It was easy. You press a button, you watch all this person's content from now on. You subscribe to 15 or 20 good YouTube channels that you like, and you have a consistent supply and stream of free content to watch. But now, subscribing to someone basically means, yeah, I like this person's content, but I'm not agreeing to see all of their content. And in order to do that, not only do I have to have all of my notifications for YouTube turned on my phone or whatever, I have to select from a drop-down list of stupid fucking options no one cares about on a bell icon that's super tiny on the fucking screen, and then have to pray that YouTube's notification system actually sends me updates about this person's content. And then now, as of like the last 24 to 48 hours, it now means, well, I'm subscribing to this person simply so I can watch their fucking video because YouTube gatekeeped it quite literally for me being able to see it because it was apparently so popular that I'm not allowed to view the video. You know, it's proven to be something so worthwhile to watch for everybody else that YouTube no longer wants me to watch it. It's actually so good at doing the fucking purpose of YouTube, you no longer can see it, right? This would be like if you went to the McDonald's drive-thru and you were like, hey, what's going on? Can I get a Big Mac? And they were like, oh, sorry, Big Mac unavailable. The Big Mac is popular. Due to limited customer history, we're limiting the number of customers able to buy a Big Mac. Download our mobile app and also buy 5 times a week from the mobile app to help us reach a broader audience with the Big Mac. Imagine if you tried to get on Netflix to watch Squid Game a couple months ago and it said, oops, sorry, this is unavailable. This series is popular. Due to limited producer history, we're limiting the number of customers that can see this. If you want to, upgrade to Netflix Plus Premium membership to help this show reach a broader audience. It's counterintuitive, it makes no sense, it's being introduced without warning or any sort of input from the community, and surprisingly enough, it's only being done right now to a very specific subcategory of content, right? So the vast majority of people that are reporting seeing this are reporting seeing this specifically on like videos and live streams that are covering a situation unfolding in Canada. So I don't know if you guys have heard, but a massive amount of truckers in Canada are currently kind of like doing some sort of protest / strike. They're blocking up a bunch of interstate lanes between the US and Canada because Canada recently, I believe, introduced some sort of COVID-19 mandate where truck drivers entering or leaving Canada have to be vaccinated with the COVID-19 vaccine or they're subject to mandatory testing and things like that and quarantine if they show any symptoms or whatever. And all of these truckers, they disagree with this mandate. They think that it's simply for control and not for public health issues whatsoever. So they're currently protesting by not doing their job and blocking up the interstates. Well, content that is surrounding these anti-COVID-19 measures is realistically the only content content right now that's being hit with this. The only content that I've seen so far directly be hit with this is live streams covering this. So it appears that it's not really about whether or not the content's popular, whether or not it's affecting the fucking servers of YouTube, whether or not, you know, the web traffic is too much for some specific server hosting the video to handle, or any other issue than that, but it's simply only being used as an excuse to suppress content that YouTube doesn't like, suppress content that is against the public beliefs, suppress content that's, you know, making a point or highlighting, I guess, a historical moment where people disagree with the general consensus that the public has. Obviously, most people are pro-vaccine, at least to the extent that they'll get the vaccine in a lot of developed countries and places where it's widely available. And people who speak out against the vaccine and like speak out against like the mandates and stuff are oftentimes being accused of spreading misinformation and like basically degrading public science knowledge and things like that. As you guys may or may not have just seen, Joe Rogan, for the last like 2 weeks, people have been calling for Spotify to remove him from the platform because apparently he spreads a lot of COVID-19 misinformation with the guests that he has on his show and is doing damage to society and whatnot through his content. And it even got to the point that Neil Young basically threatened to leave Spotify if they didn't remove him, and Spotify just took his shit off. So conveniently, when this becomes a hot button issue in society, YouTube is now implementing these features where they're suppressing content based on this. Now, personally, I'm not anti-vaccine or anything like that. I mean, I've believed in vaccines pretty much ever since I've really known about them. But I'm honestly not a really big fan of YouTube targeting people's content simply for broadcasting what's happening in the world. I mean, it's completely okay for CNN and every other major outlet in the world to write about this and fucking do coverage on this and, you know, go there and record these people doing that and put it all over the fucking place. But suddenly, if people upload content about it who aren't the mainstream media, who aren't people that YouTube would favor, all of a sudden now their content's too popular and YouTube's limiting the number of viewers. To me personally, it just seems like nothing but fucking censorship. And I think, and I hate to use the slippery slope argument, but I think that this legitimately can end up turning into a slippery slope. If you aren't aware of YouTube's moves in the last few years, there's a lot of content that YouTube has been trying to kind of shift away from. YouTube does not like controversial content. They do not like it when creators call each other out. They do not like it when creators make diss videos on one another or expose one another or disrespect one another really in any way. Conveniently, you don't see these kinds of things happening on, you know, any of the family channels that are uploading bullshit clickbait videos where they're fucking basically exposing stupid shit to children that shouldn't be exposed to them, being overtly sexual in their titles and thumbnails, talking about, I looked at my girlfriend's peach emoji heart eyes, and then it's basically just her fucking twerking in the thumbnail while bro goes zam with his tongue out of his fucking mouth like a Looney Tunes character. You don't see that shit happening, right? Where this video's too popular for children to be fucking seeing it, and you gotta subscribe to help them reach a broader audience. But if people literally are just documenting an event that is happening in the world that goes against the status quo of what's being said, apparently that's when YouTube has to fucking step in and slap this fucking label on it, right? It's more or less just continuing a trend that YouTube has been on for years, right? YouTube doesn't give a fuck about creators anymore. I know they like to pretend they do, you know, they got the whole YouTube creator shit, you know, they got these partner managers that act like they care. This company does not give a fuck, right? You know, they don't care. They're in a safe position regardless, you know? There's no competition. There's no competition to YouTube, and people always say this shit to me every time something happens with YouTube, right? Oh, bro, just move platforms, dog. There's so many fucking alternatives to YouTube, bro. Go to Odyssey or Gab or Parler or BitChute. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a list of criteria first and foremost, and when you can show me a website that meets every single one of these criteria, you can go ahead and convince me that switching from YouTube is a viable option for anybody who's an established creator. Number one, the alternative video platform that you're talking about isn't predominantly alt-right or right-wing people being fucking just racist and shitty and saying and doing shit that doesn't fly on other social media platforms. Number two, it's not literally ran by fucking lunatics that talk about how, oh, this is a free speech platform, and then do things like ban users for criticizing the website being shitty, ban pornography or talk of pornography on their website, ban people for excessive use of capital letters in their sentences. Number three, the website has to have, you know, trending content that doesn't have 400 views in 24 hours, and that's just considered like a top 5 video on the website, aka have an audience of like actual fucking users that actually watch videos on the platform. And last but not least, actually has the resources and funding to actually exist for more than 6 or 7 months. If you can find a website where you can do that and have a viable chance at a career, go ahead and let me know, and maybe I or other creators will switch. But until that happens, there is no other alternative. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of free speech, quote-unquote, platforms. They're all predominantly people on the right who were banned from other platforms. Which, it's not to shit on people who have right-leaning views, but the people on these websites, oftentimes at least, will take it farther than having right-wing views. I mean, there's literally YouTube creators I know that have tried to make like Getter accounts. I think that's one of the new, I guess, free speech alternatives. I used it for about 5 minutes and never logged back in, by the way, but there's literally YouTube creators I know that are established on this platform, right, that have tried to open Getter accounts but can't because people claimed their usernames and just started spamming the hard R and other racial slurs and shit all over the website. So, when you can avoid issues like that on these other websites, then let's go ahead and talk about the fucking competition. Until then, there is no competition, and YouTube has free reign basically to do this shit to anything or anyone that they choose to. Right now they're choosing to do it to people who aren't mainstream media outlets that are fucking documenting what's happening in Canada right now. But when this whole situation blows over or whatever and the next fucking news story pops up, what if those people have that happen to them? What if small-time journalists start seeing this all the time? People that YouTube doesn't trust, people that YouTube isn't confirming is correct and factual information apparently. What happens if they decide they don't like commentary content anymore? They don't like people calling each other out for bullshit, and they start hitting, videos like mine or other favorite creators of yours with updates like this. Most established creators on the platform get the vast majority of their watch time from not subscribed channels. It usually shows that you're reaching new audiences. It usually shows that your content is expanding and you actually have a good chance to grow your channel. But with shit like this, man, it really just, it goes to show not only that creators don't matter on the platform anymore, but dude, there's just more and more shit happening over time that prevents you from fucking growing. How many people do you think are gonna sign in to watch a video from someone that they've never seen before because this label came on? How many people who don't have accounts do you think are gonna create an account to watch a video for someone who has this shit on their fucking video? I think YouTube knows that that's not gonna happen because YouTube somehow apparently doesn't see the fucking analytics, but YouTube has all the analytics in the world to show. They know how much time people who aren't signed in spend on the website. They know how much time people who are signed in on the website use up. They have this information at hand, and it's just common sense. This is not for the reason that they're saying it is. It doesn't matter how fucking popular a video is. Mr. Beast had that fucking Squid Game video get tens of millions of views in the first 24 hours. Was never a problem then. No problem with that, right? There was no fucking issue. But now apparently if content's too popular, YouTube has to step in. It's ridiculous and it's bullshit. With that being said, man, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @subtheoptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, seeing YouTube fuck up again, and signing out.